So today what we're gonna do is, obviously, if you watch my last video, you know that in my last video I started practicing it before sunrise.
Do you have any idea what they were arguing about? Do you speak English?
Yeah. No. I'm sorry, my German is not very good.
Do you speak English? Do you have any idea what they were arguing about? Do you speak English? Yeah. No, I'm sorry, my German is not very good. I'm sorry, my German is not very good. Obviously, clearly, I'm gonna keep practicing before sunrise. I'm not gonna stop practicing with before sunrise because it's a great movie. Especially in today's video, I want to talk about the biggest advantages of practicing with before sunrise. That's the first thing that I want to talk about. The second thing is grammar. Most of you might be like, when I speak, I don't make the right sentences. I can't speak, or I'm not able to think in English. For instance, you want to say something but you make so many mistakes, like you make so many grammar mistakes. Those sentences don't come out of your mouth in the right way. Okay, you always think about what you need to say, what you should say before you say, so that you don't make grammar mistakes, you don't speak in the wrong way. So in today's video, I guess the main thing that I want to talk about is how to reduce your mistakes when it comes to speaking. Before I have my breakfast, I want to show you something. In my last video, if you watch my last video, I talk about the meaning of this word, mundane.
All this mundane, boring thing everybody has to do every day of their fucking life.
And in this video, I pronounce this word as mundane. If something is mundane, that means it's repetitive, it's boring. In this movie, this girl speaks with a French accent, so I didn't quite understand how she was pronouncing this word. I thought she was saying mundane. But guys, just a few days ago, I was watching Emma Chamberlain's video, one of the Emma Chamberlain's video, and I want to show you something. Look at it, guys.
I've been thinking about recently how there's all this pressure to have a life where you do a lot of shit. I'm just saying that generally, 80% of the time, life is just very mundane and boring.
Life is just very mundane and boring. Sorry for the pronunciation mistake in my last video, but apparently it turns out that pronunciation of this word is not mundane, it's mundane, okay? Or else it just wouldn't work.
I remember when my mother first told me about death. My great-grandmother had just died, and my whole family had just visited them in Florida.
I do remember when my mother first told me about death. My great-grandmother had died and my family had visited them in Florida. My great-grandmother had died and my family had visited them in Florida.
Anyway, I was in the backyard playing, and my sister had just taught me how to take the garden hose and do it in such a way that it sprayed into the sun and it would make a rainbow.
And I was in the backyard playing, and my sister just taught me that how to take the garden hose and do it in such a way that it sprayed into the sun and it will make a rainbow. In order to reduce your mistakes, let's say when you speak, you make a mistake, you make a bunch of grammar mistakes, and that kind of scares you to speak actually. So this is why before you speak, you always think about what you're gonna say. You always think about the words that you're gonna say, the sentences that you're gonna say, before you talk, before you speak. The thing is, you will not sit in your chair and work on those grammar rules. You shouldn't sit in your chair and work on those grammar rules. Because at the time, I didn't know the grammar rules. What I was doing in order to pick up the right grammar rules, I was going over this story. I was repeating those stories without looking at the script again and again. Okay, when you start to go over those stories while you're practicing with TV shows, movies, or YouTubers, you will start to pick up the right grammar rules. What I mean by that is, let me show you guys. The first example, I remember when my mother first told me about death. Told me, not tell me, but told me. We talk about past, so this is why not tell me, but told me. And the story goes on. My great-grandmother had died. Not died, but had died. My family had visited them in Florida. Not visited them, but had visited them. Anyway, I was in the backyard. Guys, as you can see, the story goes on. We talk about our past. We talk about the past. We tell the story. Not I am in the backyard, but I was in the backyard. My sister had just taught me. Not teach me, not taught me, but had just taught me. And the story keeps going on. it sprayed into the sun and will make a rainbow. He doesn't say it sprays into the sun and makes a rainbow. He says it sprayed and would make a rainbow. Not makes a rainbow, but would make a rainbow. So as you can see here, guys, very fast, while you're going over this story again and again, without even realizing, you start to pick up the right grammar rules, okay, as you keep practicing with the story. Now, let me give you one example. 7 years ago, when I was practicing with friends, there was this great expression from France where Phoebe tells her story about her past. That was also a great way to pick up the right grammar rules. Let's take a look at this example.
I remember when I first came to this city. I was 14. My mom had just killed herself and my stepdad was back in prison. And I got here and I didn't know anybody. And I ended up living with this albino guy who was like cleaning windshields outside Port Authority. And then he killed himself. And then I found aromatherapy. So believe me, I know exactly how you feel.
Again, another story time. Phoebe says, I remember. If you look at those two examples, if you look at the example from Before Sunrise, you will see this common thing. Those sentences start with, I remember.
I remember when
I first...
So basically we talk about our past. So this is why telling stories and practicing with the stories in the movies and TV shows is also very crucial and important for your English learning process. For you to pick up the right grammar rules and improve your storytelling skill. Phoebe tells us her story. I first came to the city. Not come, but came. I was 14. Not I am 14, but I was 14. My mom had killed herself. Not killed herself, but had killed herself. My stepdad was back in prison. Not is back in prison, but was back in prison. And I got here. Not I get here, but I got here. And I didn't know anybody. Not I don't know anybody, but I didn't know anybody. And I ended up living with this albino guy. Not I ended up living with this albino guy, but I ended up living with this albino guy who was cleaning windshields. Not who is cleaning windshields, but who was cleaning windshields. And then he killed himself. Not he had killed himself, but he killed himself. Or not he kills himself, but he killed himself. And then I found aromatherapy. Not I find aromatherapy, but I found aromatherapy. So basically, if you look at those examples, you see those came, I was, had killed, I got here, I didn't know, I ended up, who was cleaning, I found aromatherapy, he killed himself. You see those grammar rules all together in a story. And as you keep going over this story, you start to pick up the right grammar rules. So this is why you don't need to worry about how to improve your grammar, how to speak without making a mistake. As you keep going over those stories, as you tell those stories, as you practice with those stories by yourself, you will start to pick up the right grammar rules over time, like a child, like a kid, and you will start to speak English fluently. You just need to give yourself time. Obviously, there will be times here and there you will make mistakes, but that's okay. So this is how I reduce my grammar mistakes. Of course, I can still make grammar mistakes and I can speak in the wrong way, but this is how I improve myself by working on those stories again and again.
And so I was doing that, and through the mist, I could see my grandmother. And she was just standing there, smiling at me.
I was doing that, and through the mist, I could see my grandmother and she was standing there smiling at me. Let's talk about how to use the words in the right context, in the right sentence. Let's say through, this word, okay, through. You don't know where to say through, okay? You don't know in which station you should say through. Let me tell you something, guys. I didn't know either. Like 7 years ago, I didn't know where to say through because I didn't quite understand the meaning of through. But don't worry about that. For instance, guys, when I see this expression through, I directly remember Ross.
I remember the moonlight coming in through the open window and her face had the most incredible glow.
When I was practicing with friends, Ross was saying that the moonlight comes through the window or comes through the door, something like that. You know what I mean? So that was the first time that I learned the meaning of through. I kind of understood the context where I should say through. For instance, you practice with Before Sunrise and you repeat this line. I was doing that, so through the mist I could see my grandmother. Through the mist. You repeat this line. And just a few seconds later, just a few minutes later, there's this another line.
When I'm in a plane, I can see it. I can see the explosion. I can see me falling through the clouds.
When I'm in a plane, I can see the explosion. I can see me falling through the clouds. And a few minutes later, there's this another example where you see through, and then again, and then again, then again, and again, and again. So many times you will see this word in many different situations, in many different contexts, with many different examples. Don't worry about like, I don't know how word to say it through. You will start to get a better sense about the usage of this word over time as you keep practicing. And all of a sudden, those words will start to come out of your mouth because over time, you kind of like incorporate those words into your life, into your speech, okay? Just focus on practicing, okay, guys? Okay, so now I'm gonna have my coffee. And while I'm having my coffee, we're gonna do network session. For those of you who are new to my channel, for those of you who might not know what network session is, network session is basically, I watched 5 or 6 minutes of this video, like maybe 10 minutes of this video. In only like 5 minutes of the video or 10 minutes of the video, I tell you guys where I remember the words from, because I learned words in a way that I never forget their meanings. And I can always remember where I remember words from, like I can always remember the words from my old studies. So when I come across a word, I can directly tell you guys, I remember this word from this study, from this TV show, from this talk show, from this movie, because I learn words in a way that I never forget their meanings, and I can always remember the context because of my script method, because of my methods. So we're gonna do network session while I'm having my coffee because there is nothing else to do, you know? It's minute 10. Let's go.
You know, my parents never really spoken of the possibility of my falling in love or getting married or having children.
Getting married and having children. Rachel uses a very similar line to this.
If everything works out and you guys end up getting married and having kids and everything, I just hope they have his old hairline and your old nose.
I wanted to have a refuge for stray cats, and you say, Richard.
Stray cats, Kennedy.
Literally a month or two later, my mom found a stray pregnant cat.
Nobody was ever mean about it. It's just
Mean to me. For instance, French people don't mean to me. French people, please don't be mean to me. Kennedy.
Any French people, please don't be mean to me.
When they're wrong, it's this passive-aggressive shit.
Passive aggressive. It's passive aggressive and condescending. House of Cards.
Is this your subtle way of saying that I'm out of shape?
No, it's my way of suggesting you could be in better shape.
That sounds both passive-aggressive and condescending.
Just plain aggressive and true.
taught me how to take the garden hose.
Miley Cyrus.
And I said, how did you get the pigs in the crates? And he actually had to spray them with the hose in the ass, excuse me, in the butt.
Spray it into the sun, and it would make a rainbow.
Spray. Again, Miley Cyrus.
I let go of the nozzle, you know, and then I dropped the hose.
Drop the towel, baby. Drop the towel, baby. Drop the ball. House of Cards and Friends.
Oh, George, baby, drop the towel.
Come on, drop the towel. We can do it. Drop the towel. Drop it.
Wow. You are well aware that I do not drop the ball on things like this, Remy.
And if I turn out to be some kind of psycho,
It turns out it's my mother again, Chandler.
And it turns out it's my mother.
start to think about all those guys you met in your life and what might have happened if you picked up with one.
Pick up Ross.
I can pick something else up on the way.
There you go. Let me get my bag.
Alright, it's time for a walk. I love summer so much. I love summer so much. I love summertime so much. I talked about this before, but after the first year that I started learning English, I started voluntarily teaching English. My purpose was not to make money. I started teaching English voluntarily to my friends. So basically we would have these sessions where we would practice in English. We would practice with the scripts of Friends or other TV shows, and we would repeat those lines to each other, and also we'll talk about this story of those TV shows. Now the thing is, if you have a friend, it doesn't have to be a native speaker. Let's say you have a friend that tries to learn English. You can get your scripts with your friends. Let's say, you know, the script of Before Sunrise, and you can practice the script of Before Sunrise with your friends. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or if you have a friend, practicing with the script of Before Sunrise is gonna be so useful for you. The reason is because the topics that this movie covers is so relatable to our lives. What I mean by that is, for instance, you know, we see in the movie they talk about the relationships with their parents. You know, they talk about their childhoods. They talk about their relationships. Let me give you a few tips on how you can practice with the scripts of Before Sunrise. You can repeat those lines to each other without looking at the scripts. And after, you know, repeating those lines to each other, you can start to talk about the topic. For instance, there's this Q&A session.
It's Q&A time. We've known each other a little while now. We're stuck together, so we're going to ask each other a few direct questions.
So we ask each other questions.
Yeah, and you have to answer 100% honestly.
Of course.
What was your first sexual feelings towards someone? Or have you ever been in love?
All right, first question. Describe for me your first sexual feelings towards a person.
Have you ever been in love?
You can directly get this part of this video applied to your life and ask each other those questions. Or you can talk about how was your childhood, or what did you want to become when you were a kid, or how do you remember your childhood?
I remember childhood as this, you know, this magical time.
You know, how was your relationship with your parents? You know, are your parents divorced or married?
Everybody's parents fucked them up. You know, rich kids' parents gave them too much, poor kids not enough. You know, too much attention, not enough attention.
Did your parents divorce?
Yeah.
I am pretty sure every single one of you at some point in your life reflect on those topics. We talk about relationships, we talk about love, we talk about our relationships with our parents. And so basically, when you're practicing with Before Sunrise, you know, you will see that, especially if you're in your 20s, you will see that there are so many topics in Before Sunrise that is 100% relatable. So it's a really great movie, especially for practicing with a friend. As a reminder, again, guys, Before Sunrise is a great movie for improving your speaking skill if you're an intermediate level, not a beginner. Street cat or stray cat? Probably street cat.
So I'm not gonna go looking for a kitten. It has to like come to me somehow. Literally a month or two later, my mom found a stray pregnant cat, took her in.
Now, I mentioned that there are so many cats in Istanbul. There are so many street cats, I suppose, and also stray cats. I don't know. But people are really good towards cats in this country. Like, everybody takes care of the cats. Stray cats or street cats? If you're looking for a TV recommendation from me, I would highly recommend to watch Replay. The TV show Replay. It's a mini-series and I loved it so much. This is probably like 4th time in a row that I've been watching it, you know. Yeah, I loved it so much. Cinematography is so good in this TV show and also in this show, and also it's black and white. I don't know, like maybe that's one of the another factor that is so appealing to me. If you ever watch this show, just comment down below in one of my videos. Arsan, I watched it, I liked it, thank you so much. Or yeah, I didn't like it, you know, it was a really bad recommendation. I don't know, like, but I personally loved it so much. So I'm gonna have my dinner, and after my dinner, we'll see. Okay guys, now if you watch my videos, if you know me, you know what I am supposed to do right now, right? Shadowing. Now the thing is, I'm not gonna do shadowing anymore. At least, you know, I'm gonna reduce the days where I do shadowing. Now the thing is, I started doing shadowing in 2020. Back to my channel, I'm Arsene. In this channel, I'm gonna give you some tips about how you can learn English on your own, based on my personal experiences, and I'm going to share my all experiences that I went through in this process of learning English. It was in 2020, January, that's when I started doing shadowing regularly every single night with Elithuman, which I documented my shadowing process with her in one of my videos. And I show you guys.
I just want to document a proud moment of independence.
I just want to document a proud moment of independence. I just want to document a proud moment of independence. And since then, almost every single night, literally every single night, I did shadowing. I never stopped doing shadowing. Now, obviously, shadowing is very beneficial. First of all, it's very easy to do after the dinner because you feel tired a little bit, you feel exhausted. So it's kind of like easy to do shadowing after the dinner. All you have to do is repeat the lines of the native speakers, and also it helps you to get familiar more and more with the accents, and also you have a chance to improve your pronunciation. You know what I mean? I feel like my pronunciation is not that bad. Like, it's not as bad as it used to be like 4 years ago. I mean, I still make pronunciation mistakes as I did in my previous video. Now, I'm not saying that I will 100%, stop doing shadowing, but I think it's time for me to replace shadowing with another practice, with new practices. As of today, after the dinner, I want to practice with YouTubers or podcasts. And I want to work on like the 3-4 minutes of those videos. And obviously, you know that Kennedy is my favorite YouTuber. I will practice with her because she's my comfort YouTuber. And I like practicing with her. I like learning English with her because she's a very colorful person. So this is why she makes me happy when I practice with her. From time to time, I might attempt to practice with Emma Chamberlain. I feel like it would be also nice to practice with Emma Chamberlain from time to time. Now, when it comes to practicing with TV shows and movies, right, you're practicing with the scripts of movies and TV shows. But no matter what you do, those scripts are written. Basically, the scripts are written, right? It's not 100%, no matter what you do, it's not 100% natural speech, natural conversational style. But when it comes to YouTubers, practicing with YouTubers, it's 100% natural. It's 100% real. It's 100% natural. When I practice with Kennedy or Emma Chamberlain or Case Neistat, when I practice with them, I 100% expose myself to natural, real, Native American English. This is very important for me. It is once in a while. It is even like for 30 minutes a day to practice with YouTubers so that I constantly expose myself to natural, 100% real dialogues is so important. Okay, you know that when it comes to practicing with YouTubers, before you start to practice with YouTubers, you always need to separate the lines. The subtitles of YouTube videos are auto-generated. What I do in order to practice with the scripts of YouTube videos, with the subtitles of YouTube videos, I separate the beginning and end of the lines from each other, so that I don't have any confusion while I'm practicing with the subtitles. Okay, let's start with that.
I woke up today feeling like I wanted to be a YouTuber.
I woke up today feeling like I wanted to be a YouTuber.
YouTubing.
So here I am, YouTubing, okay.
And I had quite the busy day.
And I have quite a busy day. I like this expression. Quite. Kennedy's using this expression a lot, I have quite a busy day. I have quite a busy day. My mom and her girlfriend went out to dinner 2 months ago, I think. Okay, I think this is where she ends the line.
Have freckles and they get crazy in the summertime. I just like to add on, I think it just looks now. I'm currently reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because I have seen the comment Celia St. James one too many times, and now that I'm reading it, I'm extremely flattered. I love my thoughts on the book are, I'm about halfway through. I like it, but I don't know.
I finished separating the lines, and I thought I was gonna call it a day, but I decided to take a walk, another walk, night walk. And obviously, of course, I listened to a video of Canada right now, and also I wanted to end this beautiful day with this very beautiful moonlight.